Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Healthcare and AI. I'm Tracy Yakin. So last week, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, he X'd or tweeted, I'm not really sure what we call it anymore. I always wanted to write a 6-word story. Here it is. Near the singularity, unclear which side. In his most recent blog post, he suggested that 2025 might mark the integration of AI agents into the workforce, revolutionizing company productivity and performance, including adding in more automation. What he's referring to are what you're probably hearing about, which are AI agents. And an AI agent is a software program that's designed to autonomously perform specific tasks. It can make decisions or it can provide insights based on data. And all of that is happening while it's continuously learning and improving over time. You can think of it as a highly efficient digital assistant that streamlines operations, it can enhance your decision making, and it drives innovation. And it does that by handling very complex tasks faster and more accurately than traditional methods. And I mean manual methods. Why is this important to me? Well, I come from a very large family. I have 26 aunts and uncles. And with a family so large, of course, some of us do suffer from autoimmune diseases. And I never really understood how bad an autoimmune disease could be until my cousin experienced a flare that ended up in a stroke and debilitating her in her early 40s. I mean, she never went back to work after that. That's probably why I think about technology more than just in the context of my career. I think about it in the context of the people that I love. Now, my first project talking about autoimmune diseases was working on Lupus Advisor. That's a smart on fire app that helps physicians manage and treat lupus patients. That's a great first step. It helps the physician. But what about patients? As I think about all this technological advances and I think about I think about how would I use an AI agent to help somebody? Well, we could use an AI agent to stabilize an autoimmune flare, and we could leverage its capability to monitor, to predict, and to manage symptoms proactively. How did I come up with this? I had a chat with an AI, and we talked about all the different ways that an AI agent could be used. And I think that this is probably easier to imagine solutions that any healthcare system could put into place. If you could imagine having a personal assistant who knows you better than you know yourself, and it's one that could predict your health needs and it could help you to avoid setbacks before they even happen. So we have this imaginary patient we'll call Sarah. So she's a busy professional and she's living with rheumatoid arthritis. And like many others with autoimmune conditions, Sarah's life is often interrupted by sudden and painful flares. These episodes are they're unpredictable. They can be debilitating. They can be triggered by a mix of stress, diet, weather, and even poor sleep. So if you can imagine, if you're somebody who has an autoimmune condition, it really does feel like you're managing a full-time job in addition to your regular life. But now Sarah has her AI-powered health assistant. We'll call it her personal flare stabilizer. So Sarah wears these trackable devices like many of us do, right? We wear our fit watches, we have rings that we can wear that track all sorts of data dust that we put off with our health. And so her wearable devices track her sleep, her heart rate, and her activity levels. Every morning, her AI assistant reviews the data and it cross references it with her past health trends. One morning, her assistant notices that she's got some rising inflammation markers and it flags Sarah that she may be headed towards a flare. But her assistant doesn't just stop there. It also collects and checks the local weather patterns and the pollen counts, and it's recognizing environmental triggers as well. So her AI personal assistant could send her a message that says, hey, there's going to be some high pollen today. Limit your outdoor activities and use your air purifier today. Later in the day, it notices that her stress levels are rising and it's measuring it through her heart rate variability. Now, if you've got an Apple Watch, you may have had this happen to you where you're under high amounts of stress and it buzzes you. And when you look down, it says, breathe. Well, that's what Sarah's did. And then it suggested that she take a 10-minute mindfulness session to bring her stress back down. The AI assistant doesn't just react, it also gets ahead of potential issues. So it reminds Sarah that her anti inflammatory medication should be taken at the optimal time of the day. It tracks her food intake through a connected app. I've got one or two on my phone. I'm sure you do too. And it knows that Sarah's triggers are gluten. So it can suggest to her that maybe she wants a dinner recipe that's more like a grilled salmon and roasted vegetables with olive oil without the gluten. And so by evening, Sarah really does start to feel in control. She's had no flare, no disruption in her life. There's also a bigger picture here after we're using these in these small pilot projects because the AI agents they don't need to just stop at your daily management. Over time, it can learn from your patterns. So for Sarah, it's refining its predictions and the recommendations. After a few months, it notices that her flares are often followed by nights of poor sleep. With this insight, it can proactively encourage her to improve her sleep hygiene. We have devices that do that already. It's suggesting adjustments to her routine. Why does this matter? It matters because Sarah's story illustrates the power of AI in healthcare. It's not just about managing symptoms, it's about empowering people to live their lives with fewer interruptions and with greater peace of mind. For Sarah, this AI agent has become a game changer, allowing her to focus on her family, her work, without her constant fear of having an unpredictable flare. At the end of the day, AI agents like Sarah's, they're not a distant dream. They're becoming a reality in healthcare. And whether it's for autoimmune diseases or other chronic diseases, the potential for AI to transform patient care is enormous. Because if you think about Sam Altman's cryptic 6-word story, it captures the complexity and the uncertainty of AI development. It's emphasizing its formative potential while it's recognizing the unpredictability of its outcomes. With careful thought and planning, AI agents can be good for patients. So, whether you're gearing up to integrate AI into your business or you're strategizing on the ethical use of AI or just trying to optimize some workflows, I'm sure that my AI readiness checklist will help you. Thank you for coming along on Sarah's story with me, and I'll catch you guys here again next week on the flip side.